Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Delphine. I am a solicitor, but I am not your solicitor. I can guide you, but I cannot advise you. So today I'm going to be talking to you about what you can do with your law degree. Some of you have said, what can I do with my LLM? This video is not just for people who have a law degree, who have an LLM, but also is for people who have a degree and are looking for a new career path. I do have a combined master's. I knew that I would always want to be a solicitor, even with the LLM. I just wanted to specialize in certain areas, and I also am an academic. That's why I went for the LLM. So you can work as a legal consultant. Legal consultants can advise on the law, but they do not give the kind of advice that we give as solicitors or practicing barristers. As a legal consultant, you will be consulted on certain areas of the law. It's possible that you are trained by the company that hires you. You can be a legal consultant in a solicitor's firm, but you will need to be a solicitor to become a legal consultant. However, there are people who are solicitors non-practicing. It means that they are solicitors, but they are not practicing as solicitors, who are able to be covered by specific insurance that allows for them to advise on aspects of the law without actually practicing as solicitors. It's a bit complicated. I don't want to make it more complicated, but you with your law degree, your LLM, you can apply to be a legal consultant where maybe you are looking at pensions, contracts, at leases. It might be that these legal consultant roles are advertised in other names like legal advisor, contract advisors, pensions advisors, leasehold advisors, so look out for them. You can also work for HMRC, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, and I digress a bit. You can work for customs, you can work for the police, you can work for the army, you can work for the Navy. I would like to think that if you have a law degree, then you are law abiding, and the forces will definitely like you. You do not need to have a law degree to be able to join the force. Now going back to HMRC, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, they deal with taxes. So you know when you pick up the phone and you speak to someone at HMRC concerning your taxes, or you get that call which you're frightened of because you haven't paid your taxes correctly, when you get a telephone call saying that you have a tax refund, a lot of people get excited about those phone calls, but please be mindful. There are a lot of fraudulent phone calls out there supposedly being from the HMRC, so look out for scammers. But while we're not being scammed by those who pretend to be from HMRC, we can definitely be applying to the HMRC to occupy one of those roles as a tax advisor, as someone who advises on national insurance, on someone who advises on child benefits. There's so much you can do with HMRC with your law degree or with your LLM. You can also work as a lawyer in the local authority or in the council, or you can work in a private housing association. If you're working in a private housing association, you can be advising on housing issues. Same thing if you are working in the council or with a local authority. If you ask me, the council and the local authority, they're one and the same. In the local authorities, you can be advising on pensions, benefits, housing, homelessness. There's so much you can do for the council, including advising on planning applications. That law degree of yours can be very useful to the local authorities or to the councils, and also to the housing associations where you can advise on housing, on homelessness, or maybe issue notices to quit, or people struggling with repayments of debts. It can be council taxes, it can be other taxes, it can be other monies that are being owed to the council or to the local authorities. I do know that when the local authorities advertise for jobs, they do not always look for solicitors and barristers, they look for lawyers. So I know solicitors who actually work for the council, but not as solicitors, but as lawyers. So look out for that role for a lawyer at the council or the local authorities. The Citizens Advice Bureau, or CAB as they normally called, is a very good organization to work with. With the CAB, they're most likely going to take you on as a volunteer. Never be scared to volunteer in a law clinic, a CAB, a law firm, or as a barrister's clerk. This is a sure way to climb up the ladder, gain the skills that you want, so that when you put these places on your CV, your prospective employer is impressed. I was saying to someone yesterday, if you volunteer at CAB, a law society can actually take off time from the 2-year requirements that you must meet as a trainee solicitor if you actually have experience at CAB. So look into that. Many people do not know that the CAB actually pays people to work for them. They would normally like you to start as a volunteer, but you can actually rise up to become an advisor. If you have a law degree, they will be quite eager to hear from you. And the good thing is that they actually train you. The CAB is good for advisory roles in debt matters and in benefits matters. And these are areas that if you become really good at, you can then go to the council and get a good job there as an advisor dealing with debt queries or debt issues or with benefit issues. You can be a civil service administrator, you can be a consumer rights advisor, you can be an employment advisor worker. I do not know if ACAS takes law graduates or actually looks out for solicitors non-practicing. I'm not very sure, but that's something you can actually research. But you definitely can be advising on employment law issues in companies. You can be a law lecturer. I am a law lecturer. I really enjoy it. But I would not give up being a solicitor to be a law lecturer. Being a lecturer is very, very rewarding. And that's something that you can do with your law degree, with your LLM or other degree. The thing is, when you teach other people, you feel amazing because you're spreading knowledge. They say that the reward of a teacher is in heaven. A lecturer is a teacher. As a solicitor, I actually teach on the practice of law. You would not be able to teach on that because the recruiters normally look for practicing solicitors or practicing barristers. But you'll be able to teach on undergraduate subject areas like evidence, contracts, and the likes. You can be an insurance claims inspector or an insurance underwriter. You can be an investment banker. A lot of people I went to law school with are actually bankers. Many of them are tax advisors. I do not mean just working with the HMRC. I mean they actually are working in companies where they advise on taxes. So look for those roles in the bank or in corporate finance and fill them up. There is no gainsaying then that you can actually take on one of these roles and then become a solicitor later. No experience is wasted. Many of you already know that you like crime rather than civil. You can be a probation officer or you can work in the prisons with your law degree or your LLM. You can also work as a town and country planner, or you can work for the council, as I said, dealing with planning permissions, giving planning advice. You can work as a trading standards officer. Now, I like this one, it's quite interesting. You can work as a cost draftsman. I have 3 friends who are cost draftsmen. One of them is female, and I like to say that she's a cost draftswoman. So when I win a case, I would normally send my file to a cost draftsman. So I said to you that I have an LLM, and it's a combined LLM. One of them is medical law and ethics, and the other one is environmental law and policy. I have friends who actually work for DEFRA with their environmental law and policy LLM. I also have friends who have LLMs in medical law and ethics who actually work for the NHS. So there is so much that you can do with your law degree or with your LLM. You also can be working for the courts, Her Majesty's Courts and Tribunal Services. You can be the one on the other line picking up the phone when people call for queries as to what's happening with their cases. If you then decide to become a paralegal or a solicitor or a barrister in the future, you would have gotten first-hand knowledge of how the courts work. So there are many roles that you can fill in with an LLM or with a law degree. There are many more that I haven't mentioned here, but I hope that these have been helpful. Your likes, when you subscribe, when you comment, shows YouTube that you like videos like this, and they will recommend these videos to other people and also recommend similar videos to you. Now, moving on from these corporate bodies, I know that some of you want to work in a law firm on the high street or in